I know all of us have watched Snoopy. When he's in the classroom, and especially Charlie Brown, when they're in the classroom and the teacher drones on and on and on and mumbles, and the students never know what the teacher is saying and they never pay attention. This is what reminded me of the quote from Ambrose Pierce, "A bore is a person who talks when you want him to listen." Just like Charlie Brown, us in our everyday lives, we're kind of like that, whether we're talking to another friend, a colleague, a teacher, or just someone that we meet and pass by. We always love to talk about ourselves. My first point is, to have a friend, you must be a friend. When you make new friends, you usually like to talk about yourself more because you feel comfortable with talking about yourself and letting them know who you are and about yourself, rather than listening and letting them talk. I've had a lot of friends like this who just go on and talk, and I have personally had bad days where all they want to do is talk, but I want them to listen to what I have to say because I've had such an awful day. But to have a friend, you must be a friend, so you kind of have to sacrifice on those days and listen, and then maybe the next day it'll be your opportunity. My second point is, in our American culture, we are a very loud and opinionated people. And I hate to bring up the election, but it is really evident. People like to get on TV and talk away their brains, and we all just kind of drone them out and say, well, we've heard it before, we've seen that commercial a million times before, and we kind of just don't pay attention to it, we don't listen, and take the time to hear what they actually are saying, because some people might actually have some great things to say, and I feel like it's important for us to become educated, even though what they might have to say is boring, and we've heard it a lot of times. Maybe it's a new approach, a new perspective. So I think that's a great example, is the election with the props and the candidates. We tend to have more of a liberal kind of media, and I think that a lot of people tend to kind of plug them out because they just keep repeating themselves over and over again. But I think if we listen, we might actually learn something. And my third point is those are my 2 points for listening. Even though the person might be a bore, they might have something good to say. So next time you have that awful day and you don't want to listen, maybe listen. Maybe you might learn something, or your day might get better. Thanks.
All right, Megan, the attention device, I like that, and a good transition to the thesis. You explain what your point of view is. There isn't really a preview of the content. The 2 points that you remembered, you did signpost them pretty well. You got to that the third point, and you just kind of like got stuck there. It wasn't a big deal. It went on a little bit longer than we might have had, and I think you could have probably called it, 3 seconds earlier and felt a little bit less discomfort. Say, well, those are the 2 points that we're talking about. When you did get to it, that's exactly the way to handle it. Say, well, those are the 2 things that I could remember to say, and don't panic about it. It wasn't a big deal. On the presentation, oh, by the way, on the content, I thought you did a real good job on those first 2 points. I like the examples that you came up with about being a friend and about the political situation. All of those, people can relate to, and it's you know, the political one especially, everything's, you know, dominating people's heads right now, so they probably have a good idea what you're talking about. On presentation issues, you've got good energy at the start. Like I said, there's that one spot where there's just that little bit of awkwardness. You have a lot of gestures. The gestures are a little repetitive. They're indicators, you know, emotional emphasis, that sort of thing, but they all seem to be kind of, remember we talked about people getting crutches, and that's kind of what they do sometimes when they speak, and that one was kind of your crutch, doing the waving of the hands sort of thing. Your posture was fine. The only place that I saw any anxiety was in that one spot where you just went a little bit blank, but you got to a good exit line and you finished up well. Thank you.